Behind me here, the Tulip Show has begun. This should just be the start of it. I had tulips that were designed to bloom early, mid, and late. So hopefully we'll get at least a good month, if not 2 months, of the tulips here. It is beginning of April, so I'm hoping we get April through May with the tulips before the heat comes in and takes them out. And the backdrop of those, of course, the daffodils are fully in, so it's looking great out here right now.
Well, today I am potting up the eggplants, and they are way past due needing potting up. Hopefully I haven't caused them to be stunted by waiting so long to pot them up. We'll see. I've got a lot of them here. We're going to pot them up. I'll show you how I'm doing that, and then they'll just be in kind of 3-inch containers. There they'll live for another 2 or 3 weeks under lights, and then they'll go out into the greenhouse as it gets even warmer. I may pot them up one more time before they go out into the field, or I may just put them straight out of the field after that. We'll see how the weather is going. It's beginning end of March, beginning of April here, so we're kind of on the cusp of when we're going to hit our last frost date.
Weeds, and more weeds. Well, hopefully it doesn't look that as much like that behind me here. The garden beds have had a lot of weeds in them, and I recruited my friend and assistant who has been hacking away at them. Caroline, my wife's been helping him, so the two of them have made a good team, and they've gotten a lot of weeds out of behind me here. If you go beyond the fruit trees, there's the area that we call the central beds in the kitchen garden, and they are looking great after the teamwork of those two. So now they're set. I can go into those central beds and I can plant more onions and other veg. Hey, I'm planting some more radishes here. These are Crimson Giants. This is all I have in my radish supply. I'll have to seed some more if I want to keep radishes going. All right. Well, this week I'm doing our first serious harvest of 2022. What we have is the following list of veggies. I'll talk a little bit about them. Purple sprouting broccoli. Now that's something that I've known about. I haven't really grown it before, and it is intended to be what they call a hungry gap crop. So it is intended to come out right now, which it is. I planted the purple sprouting broccoli last July, so that's the long-term investment you're making to get to this point. The heads are sprouting right now, and my understanding is that if you cut the main central head, it will cause a bunch of side shoots to keep coming out. So that's what I've been doing today, is cutting the central heads. There were already some side shoots on some of them that I also cut. Well, Brussels sprouts. I'm harvesting what I call Brussels sprouts rab, the broccoli looking tops that are coming out of the Brussels sprouts. And if you followed my Brussels sprout adventure this last year, I didn't get the timing right. I grew plants in pots, and I had pretty good sized plants in those pots. They were like what they call 1-gallon pots. I had pretty good sized plants by the end of July, and I put them in the ground by beginning of August, but that just wasn't soon enough. And so I didn't get any actual sprouts on the stalks before we got into the heavy part of winter by mid-December. and that was that. So what I was hoping might happen is that, you know, they would overwinter, and then as spring came and things heated up and things came alive, maybe I would get my sprouts then. Well, that isn't what happened. Instead, as the spring came on, they just shot flower heads straight out of where the sprout would be. So the sprout usually happens kind of in the armpit of where a leaf is on the Brussels sprout stalk, and so they just shot out. What would have been sprouts just immediately went to flower. And so what I'm doing is I'm harvesting those flowers, and they're actually quite tasty. Those flowers are very sweet, and so they're a little bit like a broccoli rab or a sprouting broccoli, so they can be treated that way. And so I don't think it's too bad of a consolation prize. I've been eating them raw in the garden, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how they come out cooked. I think they can be steamed or stir-fried or the other things you would do with other kinds of rab or with broccoli sprouts. So speaking of rab, the other kind of veggie I'm doing is the kale rab. Now this is something I've harvested every spring, the flowering heads that come off the kale. I don't have as much of that as I do of the Brussels sprout rab, but it works just like, sprouting broccoli. Same kind of concept, and that's kind of how I knew that the rab I was seeing come out of the Brussels sprouts might be good. I've also been able to harvest lettuce. We have some kind of red leaf lettuce. I don't remember or know what it is, but we've got some kind of red leaf lettuce that is overwintered and is coming out in a major way here. And so, you know, I've gotten 2 full salad bags so far with that, and I haven't harvested all that's out there yet. So yeah, we've got lettuce for salad already here. We got the water turned back on, which is great. So the water outside, is turned back on. And so my outdoor sink is working, and we're able to wash up the veggies and pack them and everything and get them ready to prepare. And I don't know if I'll have enough this week to take to donation. The limiting factor is going to be my own energy in terms of harvesting enough, because there's enough out there to do it, but I'm not lasting very long here. so that's it. Hopefully I'll build some stamina as I go, and we'll get back into being able to harvest enough that I can make those donations. Well, here's what we seeded in the basement nursery this week. On the decorative side, bachelor's buttons, Chinese lanterns, and morning glories. Now, on the Chinese lanterns, I'm a little bit skeptical them going in this late, but that's what the seed packet indicated would work. They've usually taken a long time to mature in my garden, so we'll see if planting later, if they catch up and that works well. On the edible side, broccoli, it's really just the start of planting broccoli. We've got lots more to plant. Similarly with kale, just the start of kale, we've got lots of different varieties to plant. Well, several different varieties, I should say. But this variety was a dino kale type called Dazzling Blue. We planted some Swiss chard, beets, Chinese cabbage, Chinese broccoli. Chinese broccoli, if you don't know, is kind of a broccolini type of vegetable. Bok choy, both the tall white version and the short Shanghai version, and then various types of lettuces.